Have you ever heard a story so chilling, so persistent, that it feels more like history than a legend? Tonight, we're driving down one of America's most haunted roads, a stretch of asphalt just outside Chicago that holds a secret and a ghost. This is the story of Resurrection Mary. Our journey begins in the 1930s. During the vibrant era of dance halls and big bands, imagine a young, beautiful woman with blonde hair and blue eyes, dressed in a stunning white ball gown, spending her evening dancing at the O. Henry Ballroom. But the night ends in tragedy. On her way home, a car accident cuts her life short. She was buried in her beautiful white dress in Resurrection Cemetery. But for some, the story doesn't end there. In fact, it's just the beginning. Shortly after her death, strange reports started to surface. Drivers traveling late at night along Archer Avenue, the very road that runs past the cemetery, began seeing something unbelievable. A young woman in a white dress, standing by the side of the road, her thumb out, asking for a ride. This is Resurrection Mary. The encounters almost always follow the same script. A driver, often a lone man, spots her. She looks ethereal, almost glowing under the streetlights. Concerned, he pulls over. She quietly asks for a ride, sometimes mentioning she needs to get home. She climbs into the car, usually the front seat, and the journey begins. But this is no ordinary passenger. She's quiet, almost unnaturally so. She might answer a few simple questions, but she's distant, lost in her own thoughts. She stares straight ahead, her gaze fixed on the road. The drivers often feel a strange chill in the air, a sense of deep sadness radiating from the silent woman beside them. The ride continues down Archer Avenue, the city lights fading into the suburban darkness. Then comes the moment that has baffled witnesses for nearly a century. As the car approaches Resurrection Cemetery, she becomes a little more alert. She points and says something like, "This is where you can let me out." The driver, confused, might slow down, looking at the imposing gates of the graveyard. He turns to ask why she wants to be dropped off at a cemetery in the middle of the night. But when he looks back at the passenger seat, she's gone, vanished into thin air. Not a sound, not a movement, just an empty seat where a person sat moments before. One of the most famous accounts comes from a man named Jerry Palis. In 1939, he was at a dance at the Liberty Grove and Hall, which was on Archer Avenue. He met a beautiful blonde girl, and they spent the evening dancing. He said she was a fantastic dancer but seemed quiet and a bit mysterious. When the night ended, he offered her a ride home. She accepted, and as they drove down Archer Avenue, she directed him. When they passed Resurrection Cemetery, she asked him to stop, explaining that this was where she had to get out. Before he could question it, she stepped out of the car and walked towards the cemetery gates, where she promptly disappeared. For years, this story was just one of many, a piece of local folklore. But then, things got even stranger. The encounters weren't just fleeting glimpses. Mary started leaving evidence behind. One chilling report from the 1970s involves a taxi driver. He picked up a young woman in a white dress on Archer Avenue. She asked to be driven to an address a few blocks away. During the ride, she was quiet and cold. When they arrived, she vanished from the cab without paying. Annoyed and confused, the driver got out and went to the house to ask for his fare. The woman who answered the door was older. She listened to his story, her face growing pale. She explained that her daughter had died in a car accident years ago, on her way home from a dance. She even showed the driver a picture. It was the same woman he had just picked up. But perhaps the most compelling physical evidence comes from another incident in 1976. A driver was passing Resurrection Cemetery late one night when his headlights caught a young woman standing on the other side of the gates, her hands gripping the iron bars. He stopped, thinking she was locked in. But as he approached, she simply vanished before his eyes. The next morning, cemetery workers found something incredible. 2 of the thick iron bars at the gate were bent apart, and on them were the distinct shapes of small handprints, seared into the metal. The marks were so clear they looked as though someone with incredible heat had grabbed the bars and pulled them. The cemetery staff tried to repair them, but the handprints reportedly kept reappearing. To this day, you can still see the discolored, slightly bent bars on the main gate. Over the decades, dozens, if not hundreds, of people have claimed to encounter Resurrection Mary. The reports are remarkably consistent. A young, blonde woman, a white dress, a quiet ride down Archer Avenue, and a sudden disappearance near the cemetery. Police reports have been filed. Paranormal investigators have spent countless nights on Archer Avenue, hoping for their own encounter. She has become one of the most well-documented ghost stories in American history. So, who was she? While the most popular theory links her to a young woman named Mary Bregovy, who died in a car crash in the 1930 South. Other researchers have pointed to Anna Norcus, another girl who died in a car accident after attending the O. Henry Ballroom. The truth is, no one knows for sure. Her identity is as mysterious as her appearances. Is she one spirit forever reliving her last night? Or is Archer Avenue a place where tragic energy has created a recurring apparition, a residual haunting that countless people have witnessed? What makes the legend of Resurrection Mary so powerful is its relatability. It's not a monster in a castle or a demon in a book. It's a girl on the side of the road, someone you might stop to help. The story plays on our sense of compassion, our instinct to assist someone who appears to be in trouble. Imagine you're that driver. It's late, you're tired, and you see a young woman alone on a dark road. Your first thought is to help. It's only later, when the impossible happens, that the true, chilling nature of the encounter sets in. The story has woven itself into the fabric of Chicago. People who grew up there all know the tale. They warn their kids about driving on Archer Avenue at night. Local bars near the cemetery even have pictures and articles about her on their walls. She's not just a ghost. She's a local celebrity, a permanent resident of Chicagoland folklore. Even today, the reports continue, though they've become less frequent. Maybe modern cars with automatic locks and our increased caution about picking up hitchhikers have made it harder for Mary to find a ride. Or maybe, after nearly a century, she's finally starting to find some peace. But for those who dare to drive down Archer Avenue on a dark, quiet night, the legend is very much alive. Every shadow, every flicker of light could be her. Every time you pass the gates of Resurrection Cemetery, you can't help but glance over, half expecting to see a ghostly figure in a white dress, waiting for her final ride home. A ride that never seemed to end. So, if you're ever in Chicago and feel like taking a late-night drive, you know where to go. Just be prepared for an extra passenger. Thanks for joining us on this dive into one of America's most enduring ghost stories. If you have your own local legends you want us to explore, drop them in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Stay curious, and we'll see you next time.